see. So what do I want to say this morning? So we do have a program coming in a few minutes. I also have a couple of door prizes that we may want to not forget to get to by the end. You do have to be present to win, unless somebody wants to, buy a ticket for Cindy, and then Cindy can be a winner, a virtual winner. So anyway, we'll do that. And so before we get to our program, though, a couple things. One is May. When is the Alki social?
It'll be our third Saturday date. So
In June.
right now, I've emailed the Parks and Recreation. We've not gotten confirmation, but the application was sent like weeks ago. So I'll ping them again.
Okay.
But we're planning to have our next club meeting, the third Saturday of the month, June 17th at Alki Beach, and couple it with,
So what you don't know yet is the actual number of the shelter.
no, it's always one.
It'll be
There's only
Okay.
one.
All right.
Yeah, there's only one, and
We'll have
I
shelter
asked for
number
3
one.
tables, so we should have plenty of space, and yeah.
Great. And Greg will likely.
I'm sorry? Yeah, I mean, we're gonna probably be setting up early. We have the shelter space from 8 to 2. We have to be out by 2 and cleaned up and everything, but we're gonna, I think make have coffee, breakfast, and start setting up. People might want to go on the net, the 9 o'clock net. They set up their antennas and so forth, and then we'll have officially the meeting starts like usual, 10 o'clock. So do your spiel, your presidential
whatever that will be,
spiel,
I don't know.
and then we'll have lunch afterwards. We're
Yeah.
grilling
And
lunch.
Greg is going to set up his KX3 again, so we'll have some HF activity to go.
Cindy has a hand up.
Oh, Cindy has a question.
Well, just because I just might have missed it, this is for June, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so in the 4th weekend is field day.
Yep.
3rd weekend. Our club meeting is every 3rd Saturday for our new club members, just so you know. So anyway, that'll be a lot of fun. We'll have food. If anybody else wants to bring radios out and play with them in the field, it'd be good practice for the next weekend or just to get them. Let's see. For the board, we will be planning to have a board meeting coming soon. May last week, we recently put out an email asking for board members to indicate their preference of when we could meet or schedule our next board meeting. We didn't quite hear crickets, but almost. I mean, we didn't hear back from many of our board members, so it'd be good to hear back. And so we'll send out another message, but probably in a month or so, and we'll get an agenda out and get that squared away. But we should have one more before the summer gets too deep. And I think that's
Well,
all.
field day is coming up really
Yes.
soon. And so
Good.
Brian and I have been on that meeting with the planning with Quentin, Jack, Tim Helming, and Doug Pinkston. There are items that we talked about that we'd like and hope that the board will approve to share to fund on certain things like the food. And we're planning to probably have purchase tents and store it in our facility and so forth. But things like that, there are items that we need the board to be blessing.
Yeah, so just to build on that. So my understanding from May and Brian is that the context is that in years past, you may recall that Field Day partnership of ACS, PSRG, and West Seattle Club used the Seattle Police Department's tent that we all helped set up. And now that goes to another function on the same weekend. So although we're at South Seattle College where there is some weather protection, it'd be nice to have some tents for other activities in that space. So the conversation has been, can we contribute in 3 ways to purchase? And then, by the way, could they then contribute to the storage of these materials in our storage unit, which could defer some of that cost? So details to be worked out, but it could turn out to be a pretty sweet, relationship.
Last year's budget for renting tents was about $700.
Yeah.
So if we're doing that every year, it makes sense to just own.
Right. And then they can share. the tents.
Right. Cindy's got a question,
Oh, and wait, yeah, go ahead, Cindy, another question.
or did you put your hand down and you forgot?
No, this is a reminder that now that the club has a storage facility, we still have that giant ass tent with sidewalls.
We talked.
And I
about
had
it.
talked
Yep.
to Brian about moving it to you guys. And I believe we also have another 10 by 20 tent that we don't know what to do with, that we could add into the mix that at least could be used for something.
No, those are usable, right, Cindy? They're still functional and everything's okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah.
maybe we don't have to buy, could we
Well,
just?
we were thinking about 4, so that takes 2 out of the picture,
Oh,
so,
I see.
yeah. I mean,
All right,
so that's out. Anyway, thank you. Well, we will, when you get back, we'll plan to move it to the storage.
Yep, perfect.
Great, okay.
Storage.
And let's see, is there anything else? Anybody?
Oh.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I volunteer with the Coast Guard Auxiliary, and in the past, a member of the auxiliary who since passed away used to lead International Lighthouse Weekend at Alki Point Lighthouse, and the Coast Guard's invited us and other hands from the 19th and 20th of August, which will be open for tours. We'll do a special camera.
Cool.
Sweet.
Can you
We haven't
email
done
me
that
that?
for years.
Yeah.
Can you
Since
email me
the
that?
antenna fell.
I'll put it on the calendar. Yeah.
Can someone kind of super briefly just say what that was? We couldn't hear it.
The Alki Lighthouse Coast Guard?
International Lighthouse and Lightship Weekend.
Okay,
So
thanks.
celebrate the Lighthouse when the Coast Guard's giving tours anyways, but they've had ham events on premises before.
August.
Would that correspond to a scheduled meeting for the club too?
Is it the 19th you said?
19th and 20th.
That is, I think, the 3rd August, and that was what I was planning to do for the next to Alki Social, the August one, but I can shift that so we can go to this. then.
Well, here's the thing, we can still participate as long as we are in the wash of the beam of the lighthouse, technically. So if we were set up at Alki, and I don't know if we have to see the light
Just have to be in its wall.
in its wash, then we would be. So we don't actually have to be on premises the entire time.
No, they just invited me as an auxiliary to, all I joined the Coast Guard for was for radio, to do something with them. So if there's interest here, I can expand that.
Yeah, well, that's great. And why don't we plan on some, affiliation?
Should have a
with that?
dual event. I mean, you
Yeah.
can be both places.
That'd be great.
Cindy, your hand's up again?
I know it. Sorry about that.
No, it's all right. You might as well just have a bell.
The other reminder of events is the Seattle Hub's
Do you know
yearly exercise is back on, and that will be on Sunday, June 11th. So that month is just like going to be every weekend is something.
Yeah.
ACS, of course, participates, but we always will extend an invitation to members of the club to come out and hang out and do stuff and whatever they want to do. So I was just heading to the calendar to see if I already gotten the poster to you guys. If not, I'll get that to you today.
Let me know and I can put it in.
Okay, super. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
It's afternoon. It'll be from 1:30 to 4. That's a change too. So Sunday 1:30 to 4. And the 2 West Seattle locations activating will be the Hope Lutheran Hub at Hope Lutheran in the Junction and down in South Park at the Community Resource Center.
Okay, cool. Can I go right back to field day again? I'm sorry, we're bouncing all over the place with dates here and there, but we'll get it all down on the calendar. I just want, unless I have Cindy's attention, she's been
Yep.
away, is for field day, we'd love to have again the WinLink station that we had last year. Thank you very much, Cindy and Bill. And I think Wilma, right? Doug Wilma, was he part of that too?
Yeah, he was part of it. I don't know. We haven't confirmed if he's going to be there, but definitely we'll have that station set up and running.
But also with Cindy, this year, we definitely spoke about the planning team. We'd love to have some tables on the urban survival skills, and it doesn't have to be the full thing, just
Okay.
something.
I have sent you and Brian my proposal.
Okay, we'll take a look at it.
So that was like 2 days ago. So
Okay.
take a look at it and counter proposal me if you want.
Cool, we'll take a look. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Cindy. So let's see, anything else before we move on? Okay, so we've got a lot happening. That's great. So So first off, the two sort of program events is I'd like to invite Frank first to give his presentation of his toys that he brought, but I'm not going to give away what those toys are. And then Tom will lead us in the conversation about the mesh system. But before we do that, what I'd like us to do, because we have a couple of new members that may not know us, for us to go around and just introduce ourselves. So name your call, your name and your call. And, if you can remember how long you've been affiliated with the club, or just maybe, where you live, or just something about yourself so that, more than just your name and your call. So anything you want to say. Frank, why don't you start?
Okay, I'm Frank, call's MA70, and I joined the club in '77.
And you were former president.
Yeah, and the president of Georgia Vice as well.
Great, thank you. May, why don't you
You don't want to
go?
go?
I'll go last.
Okay, all right, sure. I'm May. Hi, KI7TZA, current vice president, past board member, past first lady to Brian when he was president. Members for probably 5 years, I believe. West Seattle is where we're stationed out of. Yeah,
And you're a cook.
I do a lot of things.
Yeah, she made a great breakfast this morning. Blueberries included.
That
from-
was from
His
Jonathan.
I know, I wish I was there.
Fresh blueberries, man. Oh.
Yeah, this is Barry, K7PAL. I'm a transplant from Magnolia. It's been a few years, and I think I go back into, you'll see Steve O'Kelly over here, back into the 60s and 70s. I was active in the club. Did I say my call? Okay, that's all. Bye. Yeah.
I'm Frank, K7RSD. I've probably been with the club 10 years, maybe a little more, as a board member.
Paul, 7 OIP, current license trustee for the club. I think I joined in the late 80s. Then there was a hiatus when the club wasn't doing any meetings, and then got restarted again, and been pretty active since it got going.
I'm Ken, AB7X, and I think, I keep a lot of stuff for the net, and there's records that go all the way back to when we first started doing it. I think the tab that's all the way back is 2011 or 2012, something like that. And gosh, I've held an awful lot of offices on and off, and driver of the parade float. So.
And badge printing.
Well, I've done that. I haven't done that for a while. Yeah.
Okay. Are you able to do badge printing?
The rule about if you want a badge, simply you have to ask. I've still got some material left, but we'll need to talk about where we go from
Because we
there.
have a couple of new club members that might want
Yeah.
a West.
Yeah, I won't make a badge automatically, but if you ask, that's the requirement.
I can talk to you after about that.
Great, okay. Yes, sir. Yes.
Barry, I got my license in '99. I've been a friend of Frank's for 3 years now, ever since. We had a friend who died up in White Center. You might remember the big tower. And that's when I first met Frank. He showed up and didn't know that his friend of ours had fallen.
What's your call?
KD7DBA.
Right. Brian, yep.
I'm Brian, K7WRK, former president, current quartermaster. How long have I been a member for?
It's all his fault that we're part of the club. It's his fault.
Yeah, just here in West Seattle, and really great for the club and the membership.
It's nice to meet you. I'm not a member of the club, but I am in Installing AREDNMesh. I am in Seattle ACS Northeast Sector, and I live up in Northeast Seattle, and we're going around about the Mesh-A-Palooza, so I thought I'd come down here.
Nice.
Say
Well, welcome.
hello and take advantage of Mesh-A-Palooza. So I've been in ACS for about 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, Brian's sector was Southwest sector, ACS.
Southwest.
Yes.
Several of us.
Yeah.
In Central West.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great, welcome. Steve?
Hi, my name is Steve, N7IO. I used to be WA7SFB. Was in my novice class. This club used to teach novice classes.
Really?
Yeah.
He was also the builder of the first club's repeater.
So pretty darn quacks.
It worked.
What was it?
Several of us.
It was bits and pieces of it, part RCA and part GU. I don't remember what.
Like whatever Stephen, whatever we could patch together. But that joined in the 80s, sometime mid 80s. Probably haven't been active very much since my daughter was born.
Now we're a new club member, yes.
Yep.
How did you hear about it? How were you motivated to renew your club membership? Oh, and when did that happen? Just now. Our swap meet.
Yeah.
So that's just evidence that
Yeah.
our swap meet is a great recruiting opportunity.
Yeah.
That was,
Okay, I'll make him an offer that he can't refuse.
I think I was the only one there.
Well,
I was the only one there.
at that moment, you were the focus
Right.
of attention, like, we're not letting this one get away.
Barry was there too. Barry, you were there for a hot second
Barry
too.
one was there too.
And Barry one was definitely there.
And I was there.
And Frank, yep.
Okay, well,
Tom.
anyway, glad to have you back to the fold. Eric, go ahead.
Eric Linksweiler, W7FCL, transplant from Ohio. This is only the second club I've ever belonged to. Subsequent ones after that, but the first one was Ohio State Amateur Radio Club. I was board president because you had to be a student, and I was the only student in the club. Everybody else was professors. So fun learning there with their 1,000-foot long wire to get on each other.
All right.
But yeah, happy to be out here. I joined when I started using the repeater. Felt guilty to use the repeater and not pay for it. So, but it's been fun. The stewardship and the friendship people together has been fantastic.
And is your call your dad's call?
No, my dad's call, my grandfather's call is WAPAE. My dad's is WEANO. I switched to W7FCL when I came out to the West Coast. And then my son is N7FCL, so the Y's one and the new one. And then, and then my daughter's is K7LRN, she's born in. So I can't remember these KK7 TQAs and stuff. And then my wife is K7PPL. So, man.
Hi, I'm Ananda, and it's KK7LYE, my call sign. And I just got my license, like, I don't know, 2 months ago, and I didn't want to not do anything with it, so that's why I'm here.
Wonderful. Welcome.
Yeah, I'm also a
Excellent.
member of a Rock County group. It's been around for 75 years, an old going Rock County group. So I was like, okay, I know about clubs. This is how you keep doing things, is by joining. So,
So right now you have a Balfour.
yep,
Yeah, which
I-
needs further programming. Program a little bit.
yeah, I got the right plug. I plugged it in, and I looked online and figured out a bunch of. There's probably like 50
So
different
Ken
things.
knows about programming.
I don't know.
Yeah. Among others around here, so. you
There
might-
is on PSRG's website,
Yeah.
they have, they did a repeater roundabout. And they published the list of all the repeaters. There's about 200 plus in the area.
Okay.
And it made a code plug that if you chirp,
Yeah.
will dump all those on there. Well, the fortunate side of the valve bag is it doesn't have enough slots to store all.
Yeah, I saw that. So,
But it's a great resource.
and I do use to.
Yeah.
Right, well,
I'm Nick, KK7LZN, and I also just got my license, and I took a club 4 weeks ago. So, yeah, it's been a lot of fun at breakfast.
good to see Kindred KK7. I'm just saying, I'm on a lot. But KK7PW, I'm club president, and I've served as board and other things over the years. I don't remember early 2000s or mid 2000s or something. Wow. I don't know, it's a great club and a lot of fun. And now that we're, post the crisis of the pandemic, we're animating more events and everything. So, this is sort of our growth moment to get more and more of our club members to join our events. And hopefully the Alpine event will also get us out.
Introduce you on the fly.
Oh, and Cindy,
Yeah,
why don't
definitely.
you introduce yourself as well?
Cindy Barker, KD7KSH, and I'll also represent Ron Zuber in for RDZ because he's the reason I'm in the club. I think we joined in the late 2000s, 2015 or something like that. And he was president, so I am former first lady, and do the Seattle Hubs emergency stuff. And I've just had to join ACS so I can get on their email distribution.
Right.
And John?
Yeah, you might not see me well because I've got a tiny picture. John, KSMYRA, and I've been a board member, I've been a club member for about 4+ years. I came in shortly, I think, after May and Brian came in. Currently, I am I assist Ron with the Zoom. I'm kind of his backup, and so I'm covering for him today. And I take care of the website, and I think that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, you're the media tech part of the committee.
And host of the Mesh.
Yeah, and I just want to mention that
Control.
we will have the video available as a Zoom, also as a YouTube video. I'm currently streaming it to YouTube, so that might be more convenient for some people.
Great. Yeah. All right. Thank you, John. Okay. So anything else? So why don't we, if there's anything else to mention, we can do it in a little while, but let's go to Frank. And Frank, if you would tell us about the toys that you brought and whatever you want to share with us.
Okay, I just brought some things called Silson motors. They're kind of an oddity. They're not used for delivering power. They're used for delivering position information by wires. They're essentially a 3-phase alternator, but the field is fed with AC instead of DC. That induces current in the delta connected windings, and it moves the other rotor to the same position. One of the favorite uses of them was on shipboard for sending fire control information from fire control down to the gun turrets. You're not going to hear much in the gun turret after the first salvo. Kind of noisy down there. And you get your azimuth, elevation, and your whatever charge you're firing. Anyway, I'll go over here and plug it in.
Speaking of fire control, 82 years ago this week, the Bismarck set out into the North.
Don't need to do anything at all, just sit there. I'll turn one shaft, the other one exactly follows it. It's like having a big, long, flexible shaft, except it's more accurate and there's almost no friction on it. The other places they used these was for magnetic compasses. They'd have a compass located quite some distance away from other disturbances. Then they'd send information via Silson and it showed up. And you can use as many as you want to do. They could use half a dozen of them, I guess, without any trouble at all. If you're not delivering any torque, you can come up and fool them. This just happens to be a piece of rotor control cable. There's 5 connections on the back of each one of these. It's a pipe cover to keep someone from getting bit. Because there is 120 AC underneath there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, there isn't all that much on the rotors, on the stator windings, but it's hot. You can play with it.
Will either one control either one?
Yes, any one will control any one.
Okay.
So Frank, what's an application for us? How would we use that in our?
For those that have large antenna arrays, that are driven by prop pitch motors, you use one of these on the mast. You have one down in the shack and it gives you the direction your antenna is pointing. Yeah, cool. Very popular. I have seen them that big around. I've also seen them that are under inch diameter. The small ones tend to be 400 cycle stuff, but don't shy away from it because you can put the You put the rotor windings series and the current is reasonable, and they don't overheat too bad.
It's aircraft power.
Yeah.
400 cycle.
And there's also some of these that run on less than 120 volts. All over the place. Rotors are all over the place.
Always.
Yeah.
Where did those come from?
What?
Where did those, how are they used?
These, I don't know.
Yeah, both. Sorry, and we are being recorded.
Yeah. It's US Navy Department of Ordnance, so it has something to do with, it has stuff to do with stuff that kills.
Okay, that's all we could say.
Brings good things to life, guns, bombs, etc.
Guided missiles.
Yeah. Anyway, they're kind of a cute little oddity. Yeah.
I mean, unless you can't tell us.
I think this was from a state I helped clean up years and years ago.
I think the statute of limitations.
They work quite well. They're kind of fun to play with. Yeah. I had one of the small ones there. I don't know what happened to it. Who knows? Probably dropped down in a crack somewhere and they got tossed out. You know, small things that disappear. Yeah, feel free to play with them. There's not much you can do to hurt them other than hit them with an axe.
How much torque does it take to turn one?
Essentially nothing.
Yeah. Butterflies breath.
Yeah, freewheel. Yeah, the fly part will do it.
I wasn't gonna be that graphic.
We're way down there. When you do have some torque going through it, it does deflect a little bit. It looks like you had it on a rubber shaft. But it comes back to 0, whatever it is. This position comes back to match. I'd say the resolution is well under 1 degree. They're not designed to deliver any power. They can torque at all. This position is accuracy. Yeah. It's kind of fun to play with. Couple rounds for the heck of it.
Sure. Great. All right. Well, Frank, thank you for that. All right.
Thanks.
So now what we're going to do is I'll invite Tom to introduce us and get our Mesh-A-Palooza started.
Well, first I want to give a little quick update. We bought a 60 gigahertz microwave link point-to-point package to connect from Beacon Tower over to St. Vincent to bring HamWAN over so we can interconnect our mesh nodes and whatever. And when we finally got around to deploying both ends of it, they wouldn't talk. So we retrieved them, and I last night, out of just got to get this going, sat down, and I'm talking again. So we are now ready to put those back into place, and hopefully they'll work again.
Right.
The issue was that the firmware was updated at one end and not the other.
Oh, geez.
So they stopped us, even though there were only a decimal point differences in the firmware, they would, even though I set everything back to factory, took all our settings out of them and started from scratch, they still wouldn't talk. But once I have both ends to this version, there's an update for that.
What
So-
are the two ends?
They're
Is it St. Vincent's and where?
Beacon Tower, the apartment complex that Seattle Housing Authority owns up on Beacon Hill. It's just a little bit south of the Amazon, the old Navy hospital complex. If you look over there from
can't
anywhere
miss
in
it.
West Seattle, you can't miss the big, tall, white apartment. It was like, I don't know, 12, 14 stories
Yeah,
tall. white
14.
apartment building.
The only building up there.
Yeah, like it's just south of the north end of Beacon Hill where the, what we used to call it the Navy hospital. when I
Yeah,
was a
you
kid.
have BA,
And then-
Beacon, the new
Yeah, I
BA.
think, I don't remember what the medical facilities in there now,
Yeah.
but I mean, Amazon was there for a while as well, but right, just before you drop down the hill and cross the Jose Rizal Bridge.
Building.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, just south, that's the Beacon
Like
Tower apartment
Superman.
complex. It's owned by Housing Authority. That's how we have access there. Thanks to, Edison, he had
Yes.
connections with
That's
Seattle
okay.
Housing through his offices with the Seattle ACS. So anyway, so this isn't going to be a real presentation, more it's going to be a hands-on workshop. So if people brought mesh equipment, they need to get flashed. We'll get that stuff flashed up and try to show you
Can
guys.
you
How.
just describe the state of our mesh? And
It's a mesh. It's a real mesh.
Okay.
We're trying to get it
it's a
more organized, but we have several nodes. There's like little pockets. A fairly large group kind of on the west side of the West Seattle Ridge, like from Lincoln Park up towards maybe the south end of the junction, there's a group there that can all connect. There's a group up north, kind of on the east side that overlooks like the West Seattle Freeway Bridge area. And then there's me down in Delridge all by my lonesome. I can see a couple of those guys when things are right. And then some people have tunnels through the internet, but we're trying to get everybody on RF connections so we don't have to depend on wired connections. The whole idea behind the mesh network is to have interconnectivity amongst us and then hopefully throughout the city. So that in case times of disasters and the main internet goes down or something, we can still help each other out, pass traffic, messaging, files, whatever. Some of us have been playing around. We have video cameras. So if you can get to my node, you can look out my window and see my backyard. And it does have pan tilt, so you can go around and look at my neighbor's backyard.
Not in the house.
Which isn't very exciting, trust me. And we're playing with IP-based telephones, so you can call each other, just dial the IP address via the phone. And a couple of our members are working on an exchange, so you can like do 4-digit dialing instead of having to dial an entire IP address. What was it? I think Steve was working on a bulletin board. Remember the old bulletin board you had to dial up with the modem? He's working on a package for that to put on the mesh network, so we can do bulletin board stuff like back in the old days. And so there's a lot of potential if we can get the connectivity between everybody going.
Tom, could you maybe give a few words about what a tunnel is? Because that's something I've never really quite figured out yet.
Okay, so right now, how we all talk to each other is radio to radio. There's a way to interface your radio through the internet to somebody else's radio, and that's called a tunnel. So you're actually using the internet to connect your AREDN network to somebody else's AREDN network, so that the little pocket of your RF guys can go through the internet, come out over there, and talk to that pocket of RF guys.
Okay, that's what I'm doing, Ken.
And
I have both.
Okay, so you have to have one of those.
It's basically a router.
Okay.
That plugs into your home internet connection and talks through that. And I'm not sure because I haven't done one. Talks through to somebody else's AREDN node on the other end. I'm sure there's some kind of a pathway you have to get from point A to point B. That's it. I mean, people might be familiar with VPNs, which are virtual private networks. Those are essentially a tunnel where you connect your network to another network through somebody else's, and that other somebody else doesn't see the traffic. They're just passing it through. And that's how a tunnel. Kind of like a car tunnel. You get from one side of the hill to the
It does
other.
require internet. So,
But it requires the actual internet.
so
connection.
it's a compromise.
Or HAM-WAN.
Yeah,
which,
or ham-WAN, that would be ideal.
for those that don't know what HAM-WAN is, it's the amateur radio group has put up a 5 gigahertz linking system that's basically kind of like we're doing with the mesh, only it's on a larger scale on mountaintops and hilltops and large buildings and whatnot to kind of do what the internet does without the internet. Although there is a connection into the internet. So if you're on HAM-WAN, you can get to the internet. And HAM-WAN is the way a lot of repeater sites are getting network connections so they can host like IRLP or Echolink connections.
Yeah, Queen Anne, we do that.
Queen Anne does it. PSRG, I'm sure, is using HAM-WAN to connect. They have several voted receivers throughout the region that they're connecting in.
But it's not part of it.
It's not AREDN, it's HAM-WAN. I think it originally started out as the Puget Sound data ring or whatever. But HAM-WAN is just easier to say. Yeah, well, I mean, WAN, wide area network, so now you got a HAM-WAN.
Does anybody use it that you know of to replace their home internet for any radio usage?
I don't know to replace, but supplant. Yes, several people have line of sight so they can get to a HAM-WAN access point from their homes. Use it so that if their internet goes down, they can still get internet from HAM-WAN. Now, there's ways you can program your routers to fall back to HAM-WAN if your regular internet goes down. So it's a lot.
The speeds aren't really fast.
No, it's not fiber.
1 to 5 gig.
But I mean, you can stream video on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So just to plant a seed that for our mesh network, in complement to the phone connectivity that is telephone, VoIP, whatever, the bulletin board idea, I'd like to just plant a seed that we consider doing some sort of weather API data that we could do weather radar within our system
Yes,
to track storms and events and whatever.
so
And then secondly, is I would also like, if we would, to figure out a way to put a DX spotter, a DX cluster on there. So that we could, it used to be that the DX Club and others would have a VHF spotter. And that went away, and now it's all internet based. But why not have our mesh system send cluster data? That'd be fantastic.
So with Mesh Chat, you could have a separate Mesh Chat channel just for that. So somebody could type a message in, say, Mesh Chat DX instead of Mesh Chat W7W. And you can set up your Mesh Chat to monitor just a specific channel or all channels. And that could be an idea to do it there. So you just quickly type a little text message.
But do we have it connected so there's an automatic entry of spotting data?
Automatic? Somebody who's good with writing code could probably do that.
Yeah, so.
I'm a radio guy, so.
That's all right, yeah.
RF, yeah.
But I think, more functionality to the system, I think will encourage more people to get in on it.
Absolutely, absolutely. But let's get the network expanded to where we can all see each other, not have to depend on tunnels and whatnot. So that's the goal right now is, and we gave out a couple of these TP links at I think the Christmas party.
Yeah.
And so there's a couple of those that are here that need to get set up, and let's get to doing that.
So let us splash.
I'll leave that one. Question before we go. Far apart?
Yeah, like house-wise, like how many, how close make the signal?
It all depends on the terrain. For
Okay.
it's line of sight.
It is, okay.
I don't know the maximum distance, probably a couple of miles if you have nothing in between you.
Okay.
Yeah, how far are we apart?
1.1, 1.2 miles
Yeah,
apart.
something like that. Yeah.
So a lot, much further than I would have guessed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But now it depends on the radio and the antenna.
Okay.
I mean, there's like the TP links, I'm not sure because I haven't used one of those out. I've got one here. So I don't know personally how far you can go with TP link.
Well, they're
I
pretty,
have like dish antenna.
yeah.
I got something similar to this.
Yeah.
They have a little higher gain than those have.
Okay.
But the TP link is still pretty effective.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
So it should be easier to get, I mean, hypothetically, to get people connected. if they go much better.
Yes.
And it has, doesn't,
Yeah, those have it's a panel antenna, so it's directional.
Okay.
So you kind of point in the general direction. that people
60
want.
degrees, so
120, yeah, 100. Yeah.
This is one of the things in our radio that
Yes.
just somebody helped set it up, somebody helped test it. I drove outside somebody's house during the pandemic. I just tried to connect to his house because I couldn't figure out what I was doing.
Mhm.
And so it was helpful.
With these TP links, if they're the V3, I got a V3 note and I had to use a lightning bulb in order for the AREDN firmware to work online. I don't know if it,
Did you select
I had to get a nightly build of AREDN's firmware.
And I,
Install on the V3 version of these, and I needed probably the V3 version.
This is 20,
Oh, is it? Okay.
I mean, it says version 20.
Yeah, so version 2 I
Two,
think is fine,
yeah.
but version 3 I need to do a manual build.
That's something that I ran into when I was downloading the software. They have AREDN has version 1, version 2, and version 3 for the TP links. I thought, what the heck is that? So it's just starting to come to life.
Yeah.
unfortunately, you can't buy these anymore. But these were really cool little devices, just a little USB stick. And they were made to go onto a laptop that didn't have Wi-Fi built in.
Yeah, we use those in my work.
They actually have firmware for these guys. So you can put these on AREDN.
You can't get them anymore?
Yeah, they don't make them anymore.
Oh, wow.
At least not this particular model.
They do make something similar.
The only trick is, does AREDN have a firmware flash for them? I don't know. I haven't researched that. I got this from Frank because it was kind of cool and he had an extra one.
Tom, here's mine.
Yeah, okay, there's even smaller there.
Yeah.
So it makes it really easy, but they're very limited range. So, I mean, they're only gonna like work with 100 or 200 feet.
The nice thing about these is that, you know, you can set up like a TP-Link or something more exotic up in a location where you get anything to it other than power.
Yeah.
And then use one of these guys to kind of link to it and see what it sees.
Okay.
Tom, I just mentioned that once we're flashed, then the updates are actually very easy. You
Yes.
don't have to go through the rigmarole of flashing.
Yeah, and even actually the TP-Link is fairly easy because they have an update firmware function in them. And you just, instead of giving the TP-Link's latest firmware, you give them an AREDN firmware file and you're up and running. The ubiquity stuff, you have to use the file transfer protocol.
Same with Mike.
It's a long typed out command you have to type in. With Windows, it does have a TFTP server built in, but it's usually turned off. You have to go into your settings to turn that on. It's complicated, but it's doable. And all the instructions are on the AREDN website. It's just, you know.
And they're very responsive.
Yeah.
I had trouble with that node as well, and my TP-Link, and I filed them, and they responded same day, like.
Excellent.
NWMESH is our website.
I think Northwest Mesh at Groups.io.
John would know.
Yeah, John will. I think it's Northwest Mesh at Groups.io.
Groups.io, yeah, because there's a website, but it has.
It's not a website, it's a Groups.io group.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of the website. There is a website that has our map of all of our maintained.
That's within our.
I think he's got the link on the West Seattle website.
It's, okay, so it's a page on our website.
No, I think if you go to groups when I log into my email, and I've got my Gmail page on.
Okay, I can speak to that.
Yeah, John's on here. Why don't we let John?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, John.
Okay, when we got together in the beginning, somebody with ACS set up a domain name, and I used that to redirect to a subdomain on our w7aw.org. And so there is a web page, but it's kind of a page holder. And it does link to the GMAP that is shows where all the nodes are. You can also use the AREDN map, but it's only showing you people who have registered with AREDN. The GMAP shows you everybody that we know about. So even though they're not showing up in the AREDNMesh map, we have a groups.io. It's a groups.io. I think it would be groups.io/NWMESH, and that's where all the announcements are made. Is off the groups.io web page, and it's something we. He was there before we started, so we just kind of moved into that space, and to start using it. Now we're the active people in that particular group. So there are many other groups that you can join up. There's actually an AREDN group on AREDN on groups.io. So they're a good place to go to.
As I recall, the Northwest thing originally was on Yahoo, and then when Yahoo Groups kind of went away, it migrated over. And back when we first started playing all that stuff back in 2005 or something, that's when that whole thing started up as kind of an email reflector to keep everybody. So we were meeting down in Auburn, EOC, like once every couple of months, and doing Mesh-A-Paloozas, large get-togethers, and people were writing new firmware and putting new applications together and whatnot. So it was a lot of fun. And that was one way to keep everybody in touch from like Oregon to Canada border, Western Washington. There's a lot of activity.
Okay, so how would you like to proceed with the flashing?
If you have a node and you have a laptop, the easiest thing to do is get on the web and go to the AREDNmesh.org website, download the firmware. And from there, we'll kind of help walk you through how to update your machine. If you didn't bring a laptop, I'm sure there's laptops here we can get you set up. And then if you want to put Mesh Chat on, I do have on a thumb drive the version that I downloaded that actually seems to be working with the latest and greatest.
Great. I've actually got the TP-Links version 1, 2, and 3, And I've also got for the micro router, got those also on my little thumb drive, so I could share that, but, and I've also got one for this dish, but I don't imagine many of you have that, so.
All right. So that's how these workshops normally work, is it's a group effort. We just kind of communally get everything going. Yeah.
How would we proceed with the Zoom thing?
Maybe we just close it out.
Are we gonna need to be over there for power, I guess?
Extension cords.
I imagine it's probably simpler to just do that.
I think Brian.
Do we need any more cords?
Hey, guys. So, I mean, I can leave this on so you guys can watch what's happening, or I can, if there's a moment where I see something exciting, and put the camera close by, but otherwise we're all doing stuff, you know. And something I can.
Nope, May, I'm gonna drop off. Thanks anyway. All right, love you guys.
Love you. Be safe. See you when you get back.
Bye.
Bye-bye. John,
Yes.
do you need the camera to stay on, or?
Well, it depends on what you can do. That is, if you can, if you keep the camera pointed at something interesting, we can keep it running.
Something
If that's,
interesting.
if that's not practical, then we can have it.
He says if you keep the camera pointed on something interesting, you can leave it on. I said something interesting.
Great, okay.
I mean, yeah, what I could do is like all the hustle and bustle that's happening over here, I can just leave it like this.
How many, May, how many tables are participating?
I mean, we all have our own setups here.
You know, before we.
So I can.
I'm gonna pass out the raffle tickets.
Yeah, you might, yeah, do
Yeah.
that. I'm just gonna leave the camera right here. And Tom?
I'm right above, like I can see Michael.
Tom, are you just doing your thing right here?
You can do it anywhere. They're gonna set here.
Oh, in the middle?
Well, the trees aren't in the way.
Okay. I'll just sit up right here,
Yes,
John,
yes, I was kind of wondering.
and let it roll.
And I'll just plug into that.
Yeah.
Power
On? Oh, he's not plugged in yet. Brian's not plugged in yet. Just hold on a second.
Sure, no
Brian?
problem.
May, what am I looking at?
Let's see. So Ken is setting up his thing right here. Oops, can you see my? Ken's getting ready. He's setting up his station. Oh, this is for me for Cindy. I'm gonna do for Cindy.
All right. Ken?
All right.
This is your ticket.
All right.
And it,
Hey, Ken, can you hear me? Okay, can you get some, can you tell us what you're planning to do?
You need it needs to live on the computer you're gonna use.
Yeah.
Flash here, yeah. So you want to, that's all it's on there.
So
So
just download, like,
just transfer it, yeah.
okay. So what I'm doing, John, is, Ken just gave me his little doodly-doo USB with files on it, and I'm gonna download it to my lap, which is this thing.
There's 5 files, so 3 of them are TP-Link.
TP-Links.
2 and 3, which apparently it's important to know what your link, TP-Link is.
This one. I mean, it's like yours.
Well, but there's 3 versions of it.
So May, do you have a TP-Link where you are?
I have a new, I have a new TP-Link right there.
So you're going to see if you can get it running.
Yeah, I'm just,
Okay.
Ken had,
See your box and see if it identifies the version.
let's see, I'm gonna open that guy. There's 5 files, I see that. Do I just download them all? do you think?
Yeah, that's probably the simplest.
Yeah, okay, I'll do all. And move to, how do I do this? Copy. New folder. Oops. Nope.
Yeah, your box doesn't show, and I don't think the TP-Link actually.
I download.
Oh, that's how
It's weird when I'm not in my own computer, like doing this.
So I'm not.
Can I see your TP-Link?
Oh, sure, yeah.
See if we can identify the version. I think I just identified where it is.
Okay. Let's see, so how do I copy this? I select them all.
Yeah, then just hit copy.
Copy and then put it into download.
Okay, so I'm gonna do the wrap
Wherever you want
real quick,
to.
just so
Yeah, put in
that
place, you know where it is.
we can finish this up, and then you can keep going with your. So I mixed these up, and Ananda, I'm gonna ask you to participate if you would. And if you turn out to be a winner, it's totally fine. Okay, just so that, you know, I'm not biased in my selections.
Okay.
One, and then, okay.
You can find out what version.
So the
it is.
first winner is 435379. 379.
No, that's not me.
Hey.
Frank got it.
So, Frank.
Yeah, but you just need to
Yep,
know-
I just downloaded
Good,
it. It's
okay, so you
good.
need to know where you downloaded it to.
Yep, document.
Just as good, I hope, okay?
Alrighty. All right, now I can turn off your thing. How do I eject it?
That's the elastic. And it's really, okay.
There you go. Thank you.
Okay, three more. Actually, mix that up really good, yeah. Yeah. Okay, 384.
Oh, almost so close. No, no.
Brian. All right.
Yeah, so that's
Hey.
for Ron.
No better.
I'm for Cindy, you're for Ron. So Ron got it.
Ron wins.
Ron wins.
Oh, Ron, okay, yes.
Did we get one for John? Did we get you a ticket?
No, I didn't, but that's okay.
Ron
I don't feel left out.
and batteries. All right.
It's for Ron. Woo!
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, you can bring it.
sweet.
Next one is 383. Wrong?
All right.
383.
Go Barry.
Oh. Yeah, it is really wrong. It's not mine either.
So Barry is winning. No, you didn't win that. But you win a pouch that has in it a headlamp. So that you can wear the pouch and have the headlamp, and it looks really cool. Okay.
Fanny pack.
All right. Yes, I'll take the ticket. Okay, we have one more. Last one.
Yes.
389. 389.
389. Hey, Steve, you won. So.
Yeah.
A pouch for your
Even the
belt
batteries.
plus a headlamp.
Batteries
That has-
included.
Yeah, that has batteries included. So you wear them together around your neighborhood. All right, because it looks very cool.
You'll be a target.
All right, so there you go.
All right.
Enjoy.
Thank you. All right, so Ken, back to Ken,
Okay.
setting up. Just capturing what you're doing, that's
All right.
all. So you can talk it through.
First thing I'm gonna do is
Yep.
copy this from this to my computer.
Yep.
So, and I just got the computer up and running. Okay. that's-
Wow, you're bright. You're bright, Frank. You're bright. Woo, no.
Okay.
You have one too.
Here we go.
Yeah. Like 40. Not horrible.
Have you flashed yours at all, or is it
It's brand spanking
brand
new.
new? Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
brand spanking new.
So Tom's going to have to help us with
Flashing.
a brand new one.
Okay, so is this a version 2?
Mine's a version 2. We don't know what hers is. So the first thing is, yeah,
We should be able to.
one of the things you're going to want to do, May, is hook your power over internet
Your
adapter.
version 3.26, so version 3.
Oh, where did you find that?
Oh, on the.
Oh, on the bottom. So it's your version 3.
Yeah.
Cool. You got a
So
new one.
you have to go to the AREDN website and download.
She's already got it.
Oh, you already did.
Yeah, because I brought version 1, 2, and 3. That's the only ones that were there. I didn't know what the differences were
So
until
you said do this?
yeah, plug it in. Now, yeah, no, there's an adapter that looks like this.
Watch your.
Oops, that's me. I was like, why am I getting, yeah. Thank you.
That's all right.
Oh, thank you.
Now,
All right, okay.
so that goes into here, but what's the important part is this. So here's power over Ethernet,
Thank you.
and here's your LAN.
Okay.
So have you got network cables?
Brian might.
Okay, and if not,
Thank you.
oh, come on in, come on in. Oh, that's interesting. So I've got a few extras. I anticipated that they might be useful.
And this goes outside.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. Wire ties work really good if you can find something to attach
Yeah,
it to.
I have a balcony
Oh, great,
Yeah.
great.
and I have power out on it, so.
Oh, wow, you're in business.
So I have
But
my
the,
fountain that the birds drink out of.
Okay, the way this works though, you don't necessarily need outdoor power
Okay.
because the way these things are powered
Yeah.
is through the Ethernet cable that you hook to
Okay,
it.
I have to have an Ethernet cable out.
Yeah, and that's what the purpose of the device in your hand
Okay.
is it converts,
PoE.
yeah, that's power over
Oh,
Ethernet.
wow, I did not even know that was a thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's a lot of things you're gonna find that you didn't know were things.
Yeah, no kidding. That's why I'm in it.
That's a good way of
I
putting
love
it.
learning, so,
Okay.
okay. So power over.
So I got the
Ethernet.
thing.
Well, that's
Oh, good.
perfect.
Okay.
So this one goes in the
Yeah.
LAN?
Actually, you need two.
Oh, hey, yeah, hey, I was gonna say.
Sorry.
So 2? Oh,
All right, so one's gonna go to your computer, the LAN, and the other's gonna go to the TP-Link. Let me show you how I'm gonna hook up mine.
do I have that? I don't think I have one of those.
Now see, that's another
What is your
thing.
computer?
Oh, that's enough.
Probably,
Hey, May, I'm getting dizzy.
a lot of the new, a
Sorry.
lot of the new ones do not.
Yeah, we don't, I don't have a,
Mine does.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
have a
what it's
place to plug this in
like.
on
I
my
do a whole
computer.
live show and I got tons and
So-
tons of- yeah, tons and tons of connections.
You might have to get an May, you may have to get
Oh,
an Ethernet
it's in my
adapter.
bag.
20, what's
Got
that?
a
I have an
network,
adapter.
right, USB to network.
I have a USB
Okay.
to this
Actually,
adapter.
Maybe it's not as important as you think, because I've got a computer that does.
Okay.
See, I bought this computer specifically because it had that for the light show.
Oh, okay.
So
it's
let me,
different than a regular Ethernet plug? It's different than, okay.
yeah, let me hook mine up and you guys can then see how I do it.
Okay.
And then we'll see about getting you
All
guys
right.
going. So I've got,
Of course, I looked at my bag this morning saying, oh, I don't need this.
yeah,
I have all this stuff to bring, 2 boxes for the food. I don't need to bring this.
Well, but that's why you got guys like me. See?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I wanted to hook it up to this computer.
Oh, well,
The adapter.
yeah,
It's in my bag.
okay.
Is that a Surface?
So does your adapter go to USB?
Yes, it does. It has, this is a USB-C.
No, but I mean the adapter, it plugs into
It looks-
USB. Okay.
It goes in the.
USB-C to Ethernet.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ethernet.
I'm gonna put this down. All right, let's.
Oh, watch how you do it. We'll just figure it out.
You know, and may get these two beautiful ladies set up and then do mine at home too. Of course, I've already got an older version on there. So. Yeah. You've done this before. Oh, you haven't?
This feels like it might get a little bendy over here. If we lift up that side.
Okay, yeah. Well, in fact, let me pull that out. Here, this is another nice little device. Yeah, it's a trackball. I love them. In fact, I don't like
Cooking
mine.
lunch too?
Well, I'm getting hungry, actually.
Check.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
have to do it.
so that will no longer be a problem. Thank you for pointing that out. And I'm going to put this where it can be retrieved.
So.
Oh. So like these kind of things will.
Yeah, I have tons of zip ties. Yep.
Yep.
Live my life by zip
Do
ties.
you want to just get Ken's, like he downloaded very onto a USB drive? To just put it on the computer. I put mine already on the computer.
Okay, so from the computer,
Yeah.
that is your LAN, local area network.
Okay,
So it goes into the LAN connection.
okay.
And then the power over Ethernet, I'm gonna use the shorter cord for that. That's great. So here's power over Ethernet.
Which also includes data.
Yes. So this is, now your link is computer through here
The LAN.
to the TP-Link.
Got it.
Is
Okay,
it, is this yours or mine?
that's yours.
Okay.
Because mine's right there.
Ah, good.
Yeah. Hey, Ken, could he borrow the? Okay, never mind. Well, that's.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll
go
have-
ahead. It's okay. Yep.
Okay, so-
Landline, that guy to the.
Yeah, and these something, there we go.
Mhm.
I'm gonna put that in there.
Okay.
Okay, so there's only one connection on the TP-Link, so that's easy. All right, so my TP-Link is now on the air, so the emissions are from yeah, because it's putting out RF. So now I'm going to connect to this TP-Link.
You're in the wrong business.
And the way we do that, and I'm going to need information off of here. Let's see, let me put these in here too. Okay. So there's going to be a default URL address on, and I think it's on the TP-Link itself.
Okay.
So, but I've already updated this one once or twice. So I now have my own TP-Link address. So,
The IP,
yes.
yeah.
Okay,
This
so
has a default setting. Yep, got it.
I just opened the browser and I'm going to plug in. So here's my second, this is my second TP-Link. I've got another one at home.
Okay.
And there's the IP address right there. So I'm going to type in 10 dot,
Multi 80.72.254.
254. Okay, there you see it's in the address box. I hit
How do we know
enter.
what the IP is? Is it from our own TV or is it?
Okay, this is where the process is going to be. You're going to plug in the address that you got there.
Okay, yep.
Once you plug in the AREDN software,
Yeah.
it's give you the new.
Okay.
And that's why I have mine written down very cleverly.
So I download the Arden software first.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm guessing you're here without a laptop, right?
I am, yeah. I don't
Okay,
do
so
anything.
we'll try to do this
Okay.
here.
Okay.
So I came prepared to
Thank you.
kind of
So
help
prepared.
provide some of that stuff. Okay, so here we see the initial stream, and somewhere in here is the version. Let's see, maybe when I go to oh, I need Tom's help on that. Okay, how do I know this is version 2? Somewhere here it tells me.
Okay. Wi-Fi, LAN, and version 3.
The, so it says firmware version 3.21.
Yeah, that's the art. Now that's going to match up with the file name similar to what you just got. I don't. It's version 2. But how do I know?
The Arden version?
The TP-Link. Yeah. Right here.
Down.
Yeah. I saw it yesterday.
Okay, it's right here on your thing, US 2.8. Is that what that means? Or D? Mine's 3.26.
Yeah, the version. Isn't it available on the screen?
I think you go to setup
Okay, and I
to log in.
yeah.
And it's usually root and then your password.
Oh, it's like Linux.
And if you didn't change the password, I think it was HSMM, the default from Arden.
It looks good. Yeah.
What is it? It's root
Root,
and,
root is the login.
okay,
If it's default, you haven't changed it.
yeah,
HSMM, multimedia.
HSMM, okay, got it.
And then from here, probably under administration.
Yeah, that's where I saw it.
And then upload firmware. Click on that and point it.
Okay, but first, where do we get the version? I mean,
Oh,
does it say that?
do the ATH79.
No, I mean the version of the TP-Link.
Oh, well, because you have Arden on here, you don't know. You have Arden firmware on your Mac.
Yeah, okay.
TP-Link.
Okay, and apparently it's,
It says 2. Okay, mine says 3.26 on it. Yours
Yeah.
is 2.8.
So your version 2, your version
Yeah.
3.
okay.
Which it
And-
just tells you
Who's
which.
doing it now?
Oh, it's in here.
Awesome. I wonder if we know the guy. And you mentioned that before.
We were talking, yeah, I just saw them on the box.
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
on the outside of the box, bottom of the box, exactly.
Okay, so let's flash this puppy and then let's get these two going on it.
Well, yours is already fast, so you just need to update.
Yes, so choose file, right?
Yep.
Okay, and I cleverly made a folder called Mesh. Okay, so here's where we have to be careful because let me expand this out.
So as I was showing you before on your desktop here, it tells you what firmware you have already. So you have the ATH79. So you need to find the one for your.
Oh, you know, this is for updating. Do we need to download software for these two?
This is a system upgrade.
Yeah, mine's
So
an
your
upgrade, but these
theirs
two-
will be a factory.
Yeah,
What they call the factory.
and
firmware.
that's a different file.
It's a different file.
We're gonna have to get that.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah, okay. So now we know this is version 2. So there it is. These are model 210s, version 2 for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and that's the file. Open,
And then you upload. Oops, sorry.
upload.
And it may take a bit. You see that little circular thing flying, and sometimes you don't know anything's happening. It's all happening in the background.
Thank you, thank you.
Now,
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's a pretty good message.
and with the out of the box TP-Link,
Yeah.
it's essentially the same to the factory.
Okay.
Once you have already firmware on there, that-
Tom, can we get somebody to download that file?
So we don't have one.
You want me to?
Okay. Firmware will be written in the background. Computer is connected to the LAN of this node. You require no IP address. This page will automatically reload in 3 minutes. Good. So we've got the basic hardware set up now. Just plug your links in when we get to
I'll
that.
do mine at home.
Are you sure?
Brian's doing his, yeah, because
Okay.
he's got to.
Okay.
Ken, just a quick question. When you first log into this with TPL on it, you don't need a password, right?
I don't know.
You just type in the address and
Yeah.
press enter.
I think so.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Off the browser, that's all you need to do is put in the.
To get into the original factory.
Right.
Then the password comes when you load the art stuff in.
I think so.
Yeah.
Did you write it down? Do you know it already?
HMSS.
HSMM, high speed mesh.
Multimedia.
Multimedia.
High speed multimedia.
Yeah.
That's not my manual.
It's root.
You need some paper?
Oh, here,
No.
here, I got it.
Yeah.
I was just gonna take a picture of it here, right? That's-
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, let's do that.
That, I can read it.
And what software are you loading? Will be loading?
I'm loading the updated version because I already had. Yeah, so but these two are going to start from scratch.
So you gotta go in and get the original.
Where do we get that? Just on AREDN somewhere?
Yeah. the site. So it's still
It's thinking.
uploading.
Yeah, and actually, I typed in just Northwest Mesh, and what it brought up was this Northwest Mesh.
Yep.
So it just, it's easy to find. Yeah, and it has all the info on there.
Northwest Mesh?
Northwest Mesh, yep, NWMESH.w.
You
website.
have that written down there?
No.
I'll take another picture.
Want me to
Because
just
I
text it- you want me
usually
to
go to
text it to
the
you?
AREDNMesh.org.
Yeah. Well, no, the one she's
Oh,
looking
this is-
at is the stuff that clubs.
The club mesh, do you have that?
No.
Okay, what's your phone number? I'll just text it to you.
206
206
715
715
5444.
544.
Are you guys high tech?
Yeah, I take a picture of things.
Yeah,
My
same.
database.
I put all mine into my notes. Actually, the notes on this phone, the scan to PDF, that's fast. Oh, that was
Okay.
fast. Okay.
Yeah, so it's now updated. So, now there it is, model TP-Link.
Yep.
There's version 2. Why didn't I see that before? Maybe I just was not on the right page. Yeah, so anyway, and then, so here's my address, and it's the same.
Okay.
Firmware version, so this has now got the 3.23.4.0, so that's the new version, and that should look similar to the, this is some of my light show stuff.
You can light up all year, you can light every time.
I can't leave them up.
can't.
No, because there's 17,000.
Yeah. Do you have someone help you put them up?
I did, yeah. I don't know if I got a picture. Let's get this going first.
Okay. 3.23.4.
And there should correspond. There it is, 3.23.4.
Okay.
Exactly. And that's the same for version 1, 2, and 3.
Right, so but you have to pick the version you already
Yes.
have, and that's how it updates. Okay,
Right,
gotcha.
yeah, you gotta match your hardware version. So right now, the thing we're missing for you
Yeah.
in May is that.
I think May's Brian's she's gonna do it at home. So, oh, you need to download do you have internet?
I don't know what the internet.
Oh, I can tell you, I can just do a hotspot from my phone.
Oh,
It's, I don't know, just come up with iPhone.
well, but do we need a password?
I have it, it's Vote Time 23. It comes right to my cell towers, to my phone, to your computer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and if you go to the globe,
Okay.
and then just the iPhone should be a Wi-Fi network you can choose.
Okay, I've never done this before, so.
Let's see, turn your Wi-Fi off.
Okay.
Okay. So it should come up as iPhone. Just a hotspot. Yep, we're good. Okay. Go to network internet settings. And then just takes a minute. And then maybe go to Wi-Fi. And then show available network. It's too close. Oh, maybe scroll down.
Let's see if Jonathan knows if there's a Wi-Fi here.
Okay. They never gave it to us. Oh, here it is. Got it.
Oh,
It just takes a minute.
okay.
Okay, and it should block the password. It's capital Vote, capital Time 23.
So do you have a vote?
I work for a company that we
Okay, security.
yeah, so capital P Vote,
So it's tree trimming.
capital T Time, and then 23. Yeah, that's right.
It's kind of cool. I've never seen this before.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't have
It's not a smartphone. I mean, it's kind of one of the nice things, like.
The hotspot?
The hotspot, yeah.
They're
I mean,
fast,
you
too.
can do it. Well, also can just buy little hotspots that are just like that, but this don't cost very much a month. I have a T-Mobile one.
The issue is we don't know where to go. So,
Oh, well, you don't do any, hand stuff outside?
not a lot.
Okay, all right.
So it's one of those, a matter of need.
Right.
Okay, so
Okay.
let me minimize that. So right now, what we need to do then is actually open the browser. Yeah.
Frank?
And so we want to go to the AREDN site.
Okay.
And it's R-E-D.
Thanks for the relay.
AREDN?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Amateur Radio Emergency something.
Oh, okay, so it's
EDN. No, I don't think it's me.
You put a D in it.
Okay, I'm looking.
Emergency.
Amateur Radio Emergency something.
Okay.
And then you have to mesh.
Okay.
.org. Let's see if that brings
I
it
mean,
up.
hypothetically, you've been there before.
Yeah. So there it is. All right. So we need to go to the software
Okay, software.
and let's get a download going. So these are okay, TP-Link. Now,
CPE210.
yeah. I'm going to do version 2 and version 3, but I think this is going to give me the update. Let's see. Firmware for your device. Oh, factory. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to download version 2 and version 3. So there's version 2. So we're gonna get you up and running here.
All right.
Let's see, I think it's refresh.
Are you a version 2?
2.8.
2.8, okay. So Ken, when she's done, can you flash mine?
Yes. What version are you? 2. Okay, I'm gonna download both 2 and 3. So in fact, I'm just in the process of doing that right now. All right. All right, let me.
So you can be somewhere beside your computer.
What's that musical instrument?
Theremin.
It's a theremin. It sounds like a space movie.
Yeah.
Definitely sounds like a space movie.
I'm a musician too, so I know this.
Oh,
Actually, a rock star.
oh, yeah,
Yeah,
awesome.
was. Yeah, we had a little band going.
What was the name of the band?
Rough Edge.
Okay.
Yeah, we did gigs for about 2 years down in Thurston.
Here come all the cats in the neighborhood.
I played bass.
That's what we were just saying.
Yeah. But we had a 7-person band.
Well, how's your schedule next week? Busy?
Oh, yes, I do. Oh, my gosh. That must have been.
Just let me know when you're not
Yes.
busy. We'll put it through that way.
We did.
Okey-dokey.
We did.
You're a real glutton for punishment, I can
'Cause
tell.
I've got everything to go on that project.
That's another story. We had Leslie at work.
Wow, amazing, fun.
Well, what I made
Okay.
Am I
was
still going to
using,
see somebody in a band that
Sure.
my friends know is me?
yeah, separate
At
encode
Slim's
decode.
last chance.
I'm using the
I tell you, playing in
SS64
front of crowds.
for the tone. That's postage stamps out.
Such a thrill.
Just like the TS64, it's an SS encode.
No,
Then I've got
call
your
that new.
TS32.
I'm making an.
But your
different folder, so
TS32 will do
it goes
both
to,
encode
I
decode.
don't get it confused.
Yeah.
And I want to convert
Organized.
that board
Okay,
and
so
not
they're
have to use a separate encode board, just use one
Yeah,
board.
let's do it.
And therefore, that's why the optical isolator and or read relay.
There we go. Okay, so there we are.
Nice to meet you, Eric.
You too. Good to see you, Eric. You too. Talk to you on Monday.
Yeah, it's too bad we can't mesh to each other because we're so close.
Yeah, ground and unground.
Yeah, it's just
I can go an active high
Gotta
and
get somebody
active
on
low.
top.
There's a
The
really good
controller is
website that
programmable
shows
either way.
how I would make line of sight in this house.
Oh,
We
oh,
figured out
oh,
how to
oh.
more towers.
Well, yeah, it's a busy
Yeah,
time
one
of
of
year,
us had
so
120.
next week or the
Just gotta go
following or
recruit somebody who
whenever,
lives up there.
let me
But it's
know and we'll
amazing,
meet
you're
you
literally
and Frank
blocks
down
away.
at the
Yeah.
But I can hit the water
Rest-
towers 2 miles.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier than I can tell you there.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's so it can be very frustrating.
Yeah, frustrating. Yep.
Okay, so let's.
Oh, yeah.
Have a good rest of your day. Bye.
Where's that at?
Okay, so I'm
Where do you have to
gonna.
go? Oh, Oregon,
Maybe we got the
yeah.
software downloaded. So I'm going to.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get my, oh, you haven't done it yet.
No,
You're just doing it.
Yeah, and I'm probably gonna need some help
I
from
know.
Tom. Okay, so this is mine. There we go.
Stash that away. Does the cat get along with you? though?
So all I need is this.
There. Oh, you're gonna just plug that
It's
in
gonna
like
plug
that?
right
Okay,
into what I've
perfect.
already done.
Gotcha.
It'll be
Copy
simple.
that.
And then you go to setup.
Okay, so now we need to type in.
Yeah,
Oh, the
my
root?
cat's the same
No,
way.
the,
She'll eat
uh,
for 2
uh,
minutes,
Oh,
so
it's, here, I can
clean
tell you.
herself.
Are you ready?
play
It
around out, then she'll
is-
come back and
just kidding, I'm
it takes her
looking.
3, 4, 5 hours to eat her food.
I thought I had it on.
And I'm
on
thinking
here.
she doesn't
You
like
on
it.
there?
But she eats
Maybe-
all,
Let me get over there.
but instead,
Maybe it's down here. Yeah. So there we go.
one
Okay.
small one in the morning, one small one at
It
night,
is
the little kid.
192
I think they're right.
Grady
dot
Lecter.
168 dot 0 dot 254.
That sounds pretty familiar.
Admin.
92.168.0.254. That's
Right,
Oh,
yeah, my
it's
sister's same.
sitting-
way. She's
sitting
got
and
2
spinning
cats
is what we
and a
call
dog.
One of my, when I was working, I had administrative assistants. One of them called that sitting and spinning. Sit and spin. I'm on sit and spin. Okay. And network changes detected. Cool.
Yeah, when you gotta have, like, if I was gonna take a trip, I don't know what I'd do.
There's still coffee to be drank if people want some.
Just have the neighbor come over and feed her. She got a cat
Or
on.
eggs or anything? Thank you so much. Okay, no
Oh,
worries.
hope
Need
you're
something?
going to
I don't think I did.
This is the initial address of the TP-Link.
Review,
Oh, God.
at least on mine, I
Did it
needed
do
to
any
set
damage
the
then?
manager. I
Yeah.
needed to set a static IP address on my machine.
I remember that. Yeah, so, let's see here. So we go to the control panel, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Who's gonna pay
networking,
for
if I
the
remember right.
insurance?
I think just here, network.
Oh, thank you.
Maybe.
Another
Yep.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
funny how. Would it help if I turn off the, and you know what, it might help if I.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, great. Oh, yeah, let's try it, maybe try it again.
Sounds
Yeah, just type
Well,
it in.
no, I think the place you have to go.
Oh, you have to right click on it.
Cedar?
Can you right click on it?
Yeah. That right.
Or whatever, you know, make the menu come up.
I think it's advanced sharing settings.
I always know that you have to click it and then go to properties.
There we go. That's, so I'm not in the right place.
I don't think so. I feel like it's a right click and then go to properties.
Right click. to do it.
No, it has to be on the actual network. Can we see them? Maybe just open that thing.
Oh, connection.
Yeah, click on that.
But you can use the tops for your thing.
Okay.
That's it.
It's a thing,
Wood is
right?
expensive.
Will it open it?
Man, that stuff, you, just a
Oh, yeah,
two by
there we go.
four.
And then go to properties.
Yeah.
And then I think it's this one, the TCE. I think that's it. That's what you right click there.
Yeah, you're professional.
I'm
You
an
have
IT guy at my
fireplace to
work,
use
yeah.
it?
Oh my
But
So
I'm
in case the
professional.
power goes out, you
Well,
got
yes, you are. So properties.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay. And then we put it in there. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can get to the, where we put this
the house
in.
next door.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah, and then you own
Okay,
your house.
so you can use the following IP. This is where I.
It's,
don't
it
know
has
how-
some masking. Hey, Tom. Help.
Oh, you already stuck.
That's it.
Well, this is all in the AREDN documentation.
Oh, this is.
But I'm trying to do this
No.
more on the fly.
Brand new.
Right.
But I think we're
I think
in the-
on Amazon.
I'm gonna go ahead and cancel out.
Okay.
Hey, Tom. No, I'm good, thanks. To get into the initial setup.
The other
we have to
end.
do something in the.
It's power over Ethernet.
Yes.
So you
First, you
run
have
on
to
our,
set your,
an Ethernet
to a static
here
IP address.
down to
I
this
believe
power unit.
And then go to
Right where we
properties.
were.
And then you plug
Okay.
the other Ethernet
And
there
then
into your
Use the
PC.
following IP address.
Okay.
And when you're all done, you can,
This one?
you don't need a PC. It
Yes,
just
the stock
operates.
one?
Yeah.
No.
Or have you put our?
No, we didn't.
No,
This
okay,
is
so
brand new.
I'm not sure what it is.
192.168.0.254.
No, you mount this
Two
outside.
five four,
Okay,
because that's that address.
okay,
If you want to put a
It's
different
got a-
address, so I would just put in 10.
okay.
Oh,
It's gotta go to another unit.
And then send that mask, should automatically fill up. Just click
I
on
don't
it.
have one near
I
me.
think they just have, there we go.
That's why we're building out the network.
Okay.
I've got some friends on Magnolia that I might
So
be
is
able to
10
put
just
one of these
arbitrary
on,
at the moment?
Yes.
which I could get to.
Yeah,
and
you
then
want, you want to make sure
where I
you're not
put
on
that
the same
could
address
get
that
to
they
someone
have
else,
on the
and
last
away you go.
podcast, but it has the first one. It's like
192.168.
on the same
Yes,
network.
yes.
Similar
You'd have
to
to
what I
see it.
use on my life.
You have
Okay,
to see the
gotcha.
bill.
So now we're good to go.
And
You should be.
And
Now we can
I
go
assume
to
by
the
the
browser.
talk today, they'll go a couple miles
And
or so.
Okay.
3 miles.
usually there's like an
He said
instruction
3
sheet that
miles
comes
off
with
the
it, tells you how to get into the. operating
But yeah,
Yeah.
this, I'm gonna be standing
So,
because there's no one
I've got
around me.
the address.
That
This
I
is
know.
the address.
I'll look and see when I'm on there. I'll see network.
Because, yeah, 2.54.
Because these that's why there's only so many that will work with Arden,
Because you
because
just
this
program
goes down to
No,
the
10 is
handle.
what you're assigned yourself.
Oh, to yourself.
You want to be on the same
Well, I think you
network.
just
but
go
different.
Instead of
advanced.
putting the channel
It
one
doesn't, it
through
doesn't
six.
like it.
because
It
it's not
thinks
secure.
it's dangerous.
So, at one,
And
then you
then
go-
proceed.
Yeah, so
Oh,
And so then you're
Yeah.
away from
It's,
traffic.
it's a security
It's all
thing in the
yours.
browser.
Okay, look at
There you
that.
go.
It's in there.
There's instructions on exactly what to do. What you-
And
We
you
were
can
so
log into
close.
these
We
from
were
the
so
factory,
close.
Exactly.
198.162.0.10,
Takes a village.
Yeah.
then you get into this.
Yeah.
Probably
Small
got
case
a
if I remember
Yep.
web browser thing.
That'll be
Set
right
up.
in the box.
Yeah, and then you
I
update
saw.
the firmware from the factory. Then you go get the
Mesh RD software company. And then that assigns you a different type.
Everybody does this.
So you can talk.
Go to the
from your
website,
computer.
and download the
And
document.
then you've got to put. a
First install
password and
process,
stuff like
and you
that.
get down
Set
here
your
to
channel -136.
TP-Link.
And it's all documented on the AREDNMesh.org.
Yeah,
I can see what I wanted.
TP-Link
Yeah,
first
usually
install.
within a
And
mile
what
or
they
two
do
line
is
of
they go right
sight.
in and say,
I mean, it don't
preparation.
go around a corner.
They
It goes in a
skip
tree.
everything from there to there. Right here it says you can do this.
But I've got a
through the
pretty good
TP-Link
territorial
mobile
view
operating
of the
system.
west
The very first
hill of
paragraph tells you,
Magnolia.
just do it this way.
Is that
I
on the
can see
Northwest
probably
Mesh, that
1,000
document
houses.
there?
No, this is from
Oh,
AREDNMesh.org.
okay.
So if I
This
can
is the first
locate one
install.
on West Hill,
Installing
then
AREDN
it can
firmware.
probably,
Okay.
I
Okay,
think Beacon's
so
too far. It's gonna have to go to somebody
Oh.
in Seattle.
Use your call.
Yeah, use your call sign.
You get KK7 LYE?
He was buying, he bought a bunch of these rubber routers.
LY.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And then create a password that you can remember.
Okay, well, I'm good about that.
Yeah.
He was trying to get things going for a mesh network.
Yeah, that's what they started out with, was all the link sys
What
models
is
that
this
would
gonna be?
work.
Is this Arden or what is?
But then they went to the AREDN software, and there's only so many of these that. will
So you're
be
probably-
AREDN software.
No,
He
I
has
don't
it.
think that's.
It'll
just take a second.
Just tap.
I think the link system.
Because then I'll get to set up on the show.
I use
Hey, Tom?
a password for everything. I know it's IT
Tom?
people. So
When we were all playing with the
Well, I do,
Linksys
but
and that
I
stuff,
put
was
those-
that
I use
also
my same
mesh?
password,
Yeah.
But at the end.
But it
I
wasn't
have,
AREDN.
Like
Yes.
TP-Link.
Okay.
But they
Okay.
changed their
Good.
name from HSMM High Speed Multimedia.
Yeah.
Okay, you got one more.
ARRL.
Like it.
The subdomain came up with now the amateur
recommended
amateur
change
emergency data network.
from simple.
So, but
Okay.
the
I'm gonna
login
look
still the
at it. Maybe
same.
the password
Root
is the same.
and HSMM. for the
Yeah,
password.
yeah.
When you
I gotta
first
get them
put
there.
in the firmware.
Factory, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here, I
Once
know.
you've
Let
done
me
that,
type it
you're
up here.
supposed to change your
I'll type
password.
it up there,
So,
you can copy and paste. It's my other trick.
I didn't see any Linksys on the AREDN website that you could load into Linksys.
Linksys, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't see any Linksys. There's a
Some
bunch
of
of.
the old stuff we used to do won't,
What's-
because they won't go to channel -2.
Oh, out of band, to the ham band, yeah.
You can still do.
I
channels
wouldn't go that far.
with this
It's
firmware,
funny,
but I
my
recommend because the default is
knowledge
channel
bumps up
2.
against,
Yeah. And
you know,
you're
like I'll
outside
get
the
to one,
track.
I'm like, okay, I know that, but no, I have to
Very
Google it.
nice one.
There you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
High-powered routers.
Hey, Tom.
Get one of those.
Yeah, they're not very expensive. Okay, so we're at the Pharaohs. So
Okay.
take a ride with the
So
Pharaohs.
somewhere in here, and it may be in our management or system, where you find where you upload
round
new
one?
firmware. Parabolic. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
It's been
and
a
I
while
think
since I've done it.
the transceiver is built
But
into
look
it.
for,
Doesn't look like.
That's the whole thing.
maybe system.
Yeah. the straight
No, I don't know who makes that one, but it's all built in.
system. Okay, so.
Browse to where your file is.
all right, different folder. Did we determine your
2.8.
2.0? Okay, so this is, let me expand this out. Yeah, so here's version 2.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, open.
Here we go.
All right.
So
Now,
exciting.
I don't recall if you have changed your laptop's IP address again. I think once you've configured
I think
it,
once you've done it,
then I think for now you still stay with the,
Yeah, because I think I've done more than one update without having.
and that's why I always used a switch.
Okay.
Because sometimes the computer, if you had it set for DHCP, will go out and ask for another IP
Oh.
address, and you don't want it
Keep your
to.
configuration or restore to factory details after the upgrade. I think you want to keep it, right?
Keep, right?
At this point, it doesn't matter because it's, you haven't done any more of this stuff.
Oh, that'll open the file. Let's try again. So,
I would not say keep because you're not gonna
Okay.
get anything. Because it wants to keep your.
I see.
yeah,
You're blowing that away.
restore.
Okay. There.
Okay, like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we learned that the hard way.
That's what these are all about.
What was your name again?
Ananda.
Ananda.
Yeah,
I
and
love
you're
that.
Ken, right?
I'm Ken, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of nice that
you know, my name is complicated. So over my life, I'm like, oh, now I can just be KK7LYE.
Right.
That I don't have to explain over and over and over and over again.
Gotta come up with something for LYE. What does LYE stand for?
Oh, like caustic chemical, like lye. I mean, that's what lye is, right?
The phonetics.
Oh.
Old empty pockets.
Old empty pockets,
Or
okay.
overeducated person.
Only excellent fuck.
Or only eats Pez.
Oily engine pan.
See, he doesn't go.
I should see if you, what you come up with my old, very first call.
Very wealthy fellow.
Yes.
Do we need to still be online? What do you think? What do you think, John? How are we doing?
Are you learning anything?
Yeah, because we're just like,
Okay, what's the question?
I'm sorry.
What was the question?
Do you think we can cut off now?
Okay, I'm gonna send out a bunch of resources that I put in the chat. And it tells you a lot of information that it's hard to absorb in a demo situation.
Yeah, this was just long. I mean, this is like real time, long talking and everything. I don't think it's going to be like great. I mean, if we post this on the web, we should truncate it, you know.
Well, I can put timestamps on it, just so people can just, you know, move to wherever they want to be.
All right, see you later.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Bye.